your students can access and see what it contains. But that's the most important thing. But let me talk about them in order. What happens when we click Manage Classes? You will see the following list of classes. So, how can I identify my class? I gave the classes names that each consists of three things. The first part is the teacher's name. So here we have Reem Farag, Amir, Salma, Caroline, Latifa, and so on. Okay? You'll search for your name, and then you go to View Details. This is the only thing that is clickable for you, please. Don't you click on Delete Classes. I don't want you to be evil. If you click this one here and then click OK, then you have deleted a whole class for one of your colleagues. Alright? I'll make sure that this part is deleted on the taped part.
Now we know how to get even.
Yeah, to get even. Well, and that's why, by the way, every term we change the password to make it only accessible to the teacher's teaching conversation at the term that I send you the stuff in here. Alright, so if you go down here, you'll find all the classes. And here you have back and you have add a new class. Please don't touch this one. I add the new class at the beginning of each term. Anyway, what happens when we click View Details? What do you see? This is the only allowed clickable button I told you about. You will see here the name of your class. Don't edit it, just leave it as is. Or if you edit it, tell your students about the new name. Okay? And then you have the class ID code. This is a very important thing that I sent you at the beginning of each term to give to your students. What are we supposed to have here? We're supposed to have list of learners and some information about them, their names and their emails. What does this mean? Reem, who's supposed to attend the orientation today, has not given this class ID code to her students, and that's why we have no students here. But I'll show you other teachers who did some other levels. Alright, so we go back. You can press back and back again. If you would like to do it just one time, click Home. And then we go to the 4 menus we talked about here. We are done with this one, managing classes. Do you have any questions about it? Do you know what you're going to do? Alright. Now we move to View Reports. Of course, if you have classes with names of students there, you will see, first of all, the following. Here you have, if you click here, you can see the whole list of classes. And that's why I'm asking you to do. Please choose your class from this list. Alright, and instead of playing around with these, alright, let's choose, for example, Salma's class. And then, what happens? Here you have a report of her class. What does this mean, 0 out of 10, 0 out of 10, and having no names here? Again, her students haven't registered yet, right? But in case they registered, you'll see all their names and the grades they received on each and every activity they did online. And even if they do the activity for 2 or 3 times, you'll see this. You'll see their progress. Now, suppose that this is too small for you to read. You can print it out, right? Or you can export it. If you press Export, it changes into an Excel file, right? And you can keep it for your reference. Every time when we are done with one menu, we go back home. And now we move to the most important part, which is Enter Online Practice. When you click on it, you will be asked to choose the book that you are teaching. You will find only one book because I created one account for each book, just in case one evil teacher plays around with a profile, so we don't spoil more than one book. Okay, so now we choose the book. It's always one book. I promise you'll always find one book. And then you have 2 choices. You can enter the online practice and you can listen to the class audio. You can listen to the class audio online. But if the internet, speed is a bit low, it will take a long while. That's why when we come to the 3rd part of the presentation, Teaching Resources, I'll show you how to access them much more easily. But what happens when you click on class audio? You have a list of units, in case you'd like to play it in class. And you choose the unit you are teaching. Takes a while to download. Of course, the internet speed here is faster. And here you have 3 buttons. You have stop, you have play, and you can control the volume.
Unit 1, First Impression. classroom.
You
Page 3.
can pause here, that's it. Alright? Go back home. We are still on online practice. We are done with the audio part, and now let's see what the online practice actual thing includes. It takes a while for the Flash video to download, and that's why it's a good idea if you would like to use this with your students or to show them what it includes. It's a good idea if you start it before class. Of course, it took a little while here because the internet speed is faster. In other places it's not. So what do we have here? We actually have mainly three things. We have this thing here, the drop-down arrow, this one. If you click on it, you have the list of units. Let's choose Unit 7, for example. So that is the first thing that you choose the unit from this area. And then you have the activity menus. You have 10 menus you can see. You have vocabulary 1, listening comprehension, listening skill, and so on and so forth. Okay? So you choose the activities from here.
Corresponding to all the activities in the book.
All the segments of the unit that you are using. Okay? Or that the student also is using. Again, it's a good idea to browse. This is what your student will be seeing and using at home. That's the kind of assignment and homework that he will be doing at home. It's a good idea if you browse it before you assign any of these activities. So we have the menus. When you click on any one, you see the activity. This is vocabulary 1. It's the default window. If you go to, for example, vocabulary 2, you see another activity. The third thing, so we have here the list of units, we have the activity menus, and of course we have the activity itself. When the students do it, now they can check their answers, they can see their scores, and their scores are automatically sent to you. What about if you do it as a teacher here? Your scores are kept for you. There is another difference, by the way, between the learner's access and your access. The learner is allowed access only for 1 year. You are allowed access as long as you're teaching with us. You have this access for good. Okay? So that is the online practice. Let's go back home. Remember what I talked about here. We have these menus, untouchable. These three things, these are the allowed ones. And in case you have any questions about them, please go ahead. Questions? Okay. So this is explained in detail, by the way, in the Word document that I sent you by email. That was the first email I sent you. Alright, so these are the three things we talked about. Sorry, the three things that I told you we'll talk about.